It's official, people. The Sebastian Rogers case has officially surpassed the Summer Wells case in the amount of shenanigans involved with content creators, YouTube, and drama revolved around the case. It's out of control. There's allegations of Seth getting a 15-year-old girl pregnant, and then an abortion, and then a 13-year-old girl. Let's get into it. What in God's name? What's happening, guys? White Boy Radio back with another one. Hey, man, look, on this video, I'm going to go a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Basically, this video is going to be me just talking about the two cases and the stuff that has recently came out in the Sebastian Rogers case. And I'm going to compare it to the Summer Wells case because when this thing first unfolded, certain creators were grabbing this Sebastian Rogers case and they were running from a narrative. We've seen this case. A lot of people think that Chris and Katie were responsible. Then the blame shifted more towards Seth on YouTube. You've seen some of the things he said, a lot of things that have been done. I just want to compare everything that's been unfolded. But when this first started, man, I started seeing some of the Summer Wells exploiters grab onto this case and leave the Summer Wells case completely. In a way, I was happy, and in a way, I was, it's kind of messed up that people will do that. But, what are they doing anyway, right? So this video also might be a little contradicting. It's more me venting than anything. So just stick with me. I try to bring you guys truth and honesty. I try to give it to you blood raw. And I'm non-biased here. I don't know any of the family members of Sebastian Rogers. I do know the Wells, and I don't know if that was a mistake on my part from getting close to them or not. I will always help any family on this platform. I wouldn't take it back for nothing. But, getting personal with a family of a missing child, it has its ups and downs for sure. And I just want to reflect on some things that's happened, right? In the beginning here, I'm talking about some stuff that SF had tweeted. Okay, I don't have any receipts for you guys because most of this information I'm telling you, you've already heard, or maybe you haven't. But I want to review it, and you're open to comment on whatever I talk about, and maybe something that I miss. So please, definitely comment. But as recently, SF has said that. First off, SF investigates, man. I respect this guy, and he is somebody who doesn't mess around. He he if he says something, people, it's pretty much you can take it to the bank. Okay. He has came out with exactly what I said in the intro. Apparently, Seth, when he at some point impregnated a 15-year-old girl when he was 22 or something like that, and I guess there was an abortion involved. And then there was another relationship with a 13-year-old girl. Now, have I seen receipts on that? No. Does that have anything to do with Sebastian Rogers missing? No. And the only point to me telling you this is it has nothing to do with Sebastian missing. Same as almost like when Don with the whole thing with Mary and this and that. None of this has nothing to do with either case, but it puts a lot of negative light on each individual. Okay, now either father is cleared, but as far as these cases go, the creators that covered both. I've been saying this since the beginning of Sebastian Rogers. They are backpedaling almost everything. If you're watching any of these creators who have covered Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers, okay? And I'm talking specifically creators who solely covered Summer and are now solely covering Sebastian, right? A couple of examples on the top of my head. Josh Shalab, Smiley, people like this. Even voices behind my balls, right? She's trying to grift her way into the Sebastian Rogers case. Everything they have like pushed back against with Don, whether it be a lie detector test with Don and Candace, and then when you saw what happened to Seth, Chris, Katie, everything that they have said in regarding Summer contradicts itself when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case. I don't know what happened with Seth and these young women or abortion, whatever. I don't know. I do like SF. I think that this does bring drama, though. So to watch the backpedaling now is going to be interesting, right? You know, you have Nick the Hat taking a pause, which, by the way, if you Google Sebastian Rogers, there's only a $50,000 reward, people. It was never $100,000. That was a complete lie and bullshit. That guy Nick the Hat, complete scammer, complete fraud, complete shenanigans. It's only and it only is $50,000. Okay, that's all it is. If you know, and to that point, if somebody says they're going to match the FBI's reward money, why not just give it to the FBI for that specific, you know, for that specific case? If the child is found, then that $50,000 goes to him, and if it's not, you get it back. Why not that? Why raise this ruckus and say that you're going to do it? Just the grifters from left to right, people. It's crazy, but the shenanigans have now elevated, in my opinion, on the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, in this video, you're not going to watch or learn any new information regarding Summer Wells or Sebastian Rogers. Okay, just the other night, Court TV did a little 45-minute segment on Summer Wells. But when you watch it, it's Chris McDonough and his boring segment, and everyone's heard it, everyone's seen it. People don't even mess with that dude, debunk him. Web Sleuth has pulled away from that guy. But it's like it's almost like as you watch this segment on Court TV, I'm almost getting mad at watching it, but at the same time, I'm happy they're keeping her name in the news. But it's just, I mean, what could they put in? What could they put new for her, right? It's very tricky with these missing people cases. In the beginning, you said, I said, I would be reluctant to maybe get close to a family member or not because it gives you a bias, people. It gives you a bias, and we have to keep it real over here. But the shenanigans have elevated to a maximum level in the Sebastian Rogers case. In my opinion, they have far exceeded Summer Wells to this point. Grifters are coming at everything left and right. Creators are getting arrested. Look at Bullhorn Betty. She's lost her freaking mind on this. She literally has multiple protective, stalking, and harassing restraining orders against people. It's crazy. And it's progressively going to get worse, right? If we compare Sebastian Rogers to the Summer Wells case, I think most of you will agree that the shenanigans in this case are starting to exceed Summer Wells. Maybe some of you say no. I don't know. Whatever your opinion is, in my opinion, it has. But there's going to be another kid coming in the future, and it's going to even be worse than Sebastian Rogers and Summer Wells. This is just what's going to happen, people. It's just what's going to happen. This whole thing is just so very interesting. And what I mean by that is like the happy medium of covering these missing children cases. I try to be honest with you guys, try to be real. I can do parodies, we can clown, we can joke, but on real serious videos like this here, even though this is a reaction video, I have to be careful with the information that I say, right? That's why I specifically said you'll have no new information in this video. A while back, there was a little debate here on the YouTube streets about hashtags. And I watched certain channels on both sides of the coin kind of debate it out. And I kind of sat here and didn't give my opinion, but I do want to give it now here. With that argument of hashtags, I do know that it came from a person with a good heart, tragedy pimps exposed. They didn't do it in a malicious way. And again, I think that both people had good arguments as far as what she brought up. As far as my stance on that, and as far as it pertains to this video, I want to say this. In this video, I'm not giving anybody any new information about Sebastian Rogers. I'm comparing the cases. I'm talking about what's happening to my subscribers. I am going to, unfortunately, put in the title Sebastian Rogers and Summer Wells. I don't know what my hashtags will be. Probably something related to what I just said. In this fight against exploiters tragedy pimps, and people who are just no good, bullhorn betties, involving themselves in these cases. And it's a dime a dozen people. But in this constant fight, you have people who exploit the families, which is the true definition of a tragedy pimp, and you have people who are doing this for a legitimate good cause. I don't care if they're making money on here, as long as their heart that you feel is in the right spot, then who cares? Okay. Some people will even argue that, right? But we can't argue every little thing, right? This is my opinion. But as far as the hashtags go, in my view, again, both people great points in that whole, thing that happened a few weeks ago. I think it is good to push back with hashtags, not necessarily in drama or anything like that, but when you're pushing back or talking about people covering these missing children and they're bad actors, if you don't counter it with a hashtag, like this video here will have some hashtags, because I want people to that are searching Sebastian Rogers to understand that there's bad actors in here, and have me explain or maybe see a different point of view from what they're watching. You know what I mean? So I think that that's important to an extent, but also I understand that could be exploited and used in a bad sense too. And that's my point to this whole video. Creators covering these things, and back to me getting close to a family member of a missing child. It's very tricky, this world this little sector of the internet that we share. It's hard to do everything right and to appease everybody on every little grain of complaint. It really is. I think, man, with this thing here is you just have decency. You just be a good person with a good heart. If you're going to get close to a family, you don't burn them for views or this or that. You don't shit on them. And with the Sebastian Rogers case, I feel like, in comparison to the Summerwells, as different as the case is, and even though I feel like it's elevating past Summerwells with all the weird stuff, right? You have the Blipboard shenanigans and this and that. And again, I'm not taking a stance on that. I haven't spoke about that. I'm just revolving it around to this video. You have people who dislike creators who are exploiting the biological father. And because the biological father is indirectly attached to a main tragedy pimp, there's a lot of bad light that gets shot his way. And at the end of the day, a tragedy pimp is somebody who exploits and, you know, is terrorizing and stalking, harassing, exploiting a family of a missing child. And a lot of that indirectly happens with Seth. I'm not a huge fan of Seth. Okay. If you want my completely honest opinion on the Sebastian Rogers case, my stance has not changed. I don't think Seth or Chris did anything wrong, any foul play involved. Personally, I kind of like Chris and Katie a little bit better than Seth. Okay. And this is exactly what I'm saying, because I don't really like Bullhorn Betty, and Seth has attached himself with Tik Tok Tony. So you have a negative aspect already towards Seth. And I think that's why he's getting a lot of heat thrown at him indirectly, in a sense. Now, also, he says some crazy shit, but do you see where I'm going with this? Where normally people wouldn't do that, but because the situation at hand is what he's made it, people throw shade towards him, and almost accidentally, if that makes sense. Again, this is kind of going above and up of what I usually do and talk about, but I'm trying to wrap my head around what we're seeing here and try to make some sense of it. On YouTube, a lot, people are always saying, you know, what are you, the moral police or this or that? And look, I'm going to be real. I understand some of those comments, but at the end of the day, man, it's common sense, right? You have people and tragedy pimps and idiots who are doing this for the wrong reason, and then you have people who are doing this for a good reason. Are those people getting paid? Are they not? I don't know. It gets too complicated with when you start doing that. Okay. In my view, you have shitbags and good people. Okay. Keep it there, keep it simple. But when people start dissecting every little angle of every little thing, it gets way too complicated. This case is out of control, and I'm glad that I did not get to know any of the family. Another thing with this sector of the internet is people always expect YouTubers to go out and search for the missing child. That is great if you are able to do it. And again, if you do it the right way, not exploit that situation as well. But for the people in the comments who don't like when people are bringing awareness or calling bad actors out and saying, why don't you search or this or that? Well, what are you doing? Most of these YouTubers, good or bad, they have been on the scene at some point. So you got to watch what you comment sometimes. I'm just saying, don't talk crap to somebody who's indirectly done more than you, which happens all the time with me in the Summer Wells comments. You know what I mean? Most of these people haven't even shared a video of a creator that they like who's covered Summer Wells and get her name on their own social media, let alone gone to Tennessee and flew on a drone search, hung a flyer. So it's just very complicated. And this is like a vent video to me, man. But in my opinion, man, things have been happening way before SF has made this last claim. Nick the Hat quit. It's been going down and going down. And again, we are at a point in the case where there's a halt. Every time anyone's covering these cases, or let me say it like this, anytime there's a case where there's always that case, right, that gets way more attention than the hundreds of thousands of missing children all around the country. You have, just to name a few, Gavetito. People are locked and loaded in on this case. Summer Wells, locked and loaded in on this case. And here we are, Sebastian Rogers, locked and loaded. There's always a case like that. But when there's a case like that and people start covering it, you're always going to have shitbags. You're always going to have these people that are just going to come out the woodwork. It's just crazy to me to see some of the stuff we have witnessed. You have Dog the Bounty Hunter coming. It's just crazy. And this is the vent to me, y'all. There's so much that's been going on. It's getting ugly. And because there's no updates in this case, that's when shenanigans go to the maximum, because there's nothing to report on the case. And when people are locked and loaded on this case, they're ready for an update no matter what. So as soon as a creator cranks up a live or a video or a thumbnail that has Sebastian Rogers in it or whatever, people are going to flock to it. So you have to be careful, because some creators know that and they'll exploit that whole situation in itself. Just some things to think about, some things to vent about. I don't know how to do this correctly, man. In my opinion, I'm just winging this channel over here, okay? And I'm doing pretty good. Follow honest people, man. This is sad to make a video about, to be honest. It's sad for me to say that after you guys have literally went through Summer Wells, most of you, that I'm making a video saying that Sebastian Rogers' case is actually worse, with creator mishaps, shenanigans, scams, exploiting, than Summer Wells. What's happening next? So, an end here, I think people should just focus on good and bad, man. Real and fake. Exploiting and non exploiting. Because when you start micromanaging everything and and breaking down if somebody's good. You have to separate bad and good, but don't start dissecting the good and every little thing in between it, because it gets lost in the way. It gets lost all around, man. Don't even know if y'all understood what the hell my ADDs just said, but hopefully you did. Leave it in the comments. Sebastian Rogers, man, is the main focus here. He's still missing. Sometimes the drama gets carried away, and it's sad because this is a human being. This is a little. He's not even a man. It's a teenager missing. But just very sad, y'all. Very sad for me to make this video, this reaction. Sometimes it's easier to do parodies and stuff. To do this type of stuff is you have to be serious about it, and it's just very you hate to see it. Until the next one, man, my thoughts on it. What's up, guys? Hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe to my clip channel at White Boy Radio Clips, and in the description box is the link to be a member. Become a member if you can. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, stay smart. Peace.